Hello everyone, welcome to this channel. My name is Mehdi from 2D Redbox, and today we are going to talk about how to texture this military helmet from our BaseMesh collection. And you can find the link of this collection in the description, and you can download this model from the link in the description. So check the description, please hit the like button, subscribe the channel, and ring the bell, and let's start the journey and texture this model. Learning Substance Painter is easier than ever. Hey all substance lovers, texture seekers, and awesome future artists. Welcome to ultimate course for learning Substance Painter from zero to hero. Ready to learn how to texture with different projects? Substance Master released a brand new course for those who want to learn to texture with Substance Painter. In this course, we cover from preparing the model to rendering different projects, different challenges. If you want to level up your skill in texturing, come and check the Substance Master Ultimate course for learning Substance Painter. Okay, after importing the model, baking the mesh maps, and setting up the environment inside Substance Painter, we need to create different folder for different section of the material and create different categories. So I'm going to do that with creating folder and giving the right mask and a simple fill layer to demonstrate the color for each category separately. So let's fast forward this section, and after that we can continue our discussion. Okay, let's start using some smart material from the library. So I'm going to search here steel, and let's use steel scratch, the screw. Yeah, it's okay. That's fine. The T is not needed anymore. And for the sharpen, let's bring out the layer for the sharpen. So it's going to apply to all the layers inside my material, not just only on the steel scratched. So I'm going to create another fill layer and call it dirt, and in this dirt I just need to have color and roughness. Okay, and let's bring some brownish dirt. Okay, like this, and I need the zero metallic in the layer because it's a dirt. It's not going to have metallic attribute inside it. So let's add a black mask and let's add a generator. I'm going to use a dirt generator for that. Okay, like this. And yeah, let's decrease the opacity for the base color and a little darker. Okay, that's it, and that's enough for the screw part. If you want, you can attend more to this material and make sometimes to create details inside it, but it's fine for me, so I'm going to skip this part. Okay, let's go for the plastic, and I'm going to create the plastic material. Okay, let's go for the plastic, and I'm going to use smart material for this purpose. Let's search about the plastic, and I think the armor glossy is good for this part. Yeah, that's good. But I'm going to add some details, especially here and in here. So let's remove the T. Okay. And now I'm going to add details for this one. So let's make some attention on the border. Okay. Let's say it jaw protection. Okay. And I'm going to add a black mask, and inside this black mask, let's use the curvature generator. Okay, because if I want to use, for example, ambient, as you can see, the mask is not okay, and I can use curvature to extract the edges, or just use UV border, okay, like this. But in here I'm going to use curvature. Okay, and let's bring up the global contrast, increase the global balance. Okay, now I can detect the edges here. Okay, maybe a little global blur. And if you forget about to control the blur amount, you can have some artifact like this on the seams. So it's better to pay attention to the global blur and do not make some crazy number for the blur. Okay, especially when you deal with the edges or some generator related to the edges. So keep in your mind. And let's add a filter like blur to control the blur amount outside the generator. And now it's time to control the mask. So I'm going to add a paint layer, and in here I'm going to select all the elements on the model, okay, except this part. And now let's change the blending mode to subtract. So in this way I subtract all the data from the model except this one. So let's go back to the layer itself. I don't need a color roughness method or anything else. I just need to have height. So I'm going to hold Alt and click on the height. Okay, and we can bring up the amount of the height. So yeah, like this. And now I can play with the global balance, contrast, okay, to control the effect here. Okay, like this. So I need some circle shape inside this section. So let's create a fill layer. I'm going to call it circle. And after that, let's add a black mask. And in the black mask, I'm going to use generator. For the generator, let's use UV border. Okay, and let's invert it because I need the inside part. So I'm going to use this mask to control the area that I want to show the circle pattern. Okay, and in here I'm going to change the balance to something like 0.6 and contrast to 0.4, and let's increase the distance to something like 12. Okay, and I'm going to add a filter like blur, and I can increase the blur intensity to have some soft and a very smooth gradient. Okay, it's okay for now, 3.5, and let's control the mask. So I can add a paint layer and bring it down as a first sub layer, and let's select this area, and I just want to this UV border distance result just show up on the white area that I select. So I can change the blending mode from normal to multiply to achieve this result, and I can use the blur itself, and let's add a fill layer and call circles. Okay, and for the circles exactly I want to show up the circles inside the white area that I created before. So let's change the blending mode from normal to multiply, and now I can play with the setting inside the fill layer properties. So let's go for the 15 in the tiling, and for the tiling itself, yeah, maybe 6 is good, maybe 7 is better, and let's bring down the balance. Okay, like this, and now I have a beautiful mask. So I can bring up the height and get this kind of effect. Okay, it's okay for me. So 0.35 is okay, and that's it. And now we can go to the UV border distance and play with the balance. Okay, to control the mask, or even we can add a level after blur and play with this slider to control the mask. Okay, like this. And we can go to the circle and play with the tile. Okay, like this. For example, I'm okay with the 5, not 7. And that's it. Okay, we are good to go for this section. And let's add the other layers. Now the next layer is dense. I'm going to create a dense layer here. Okay, so let's go and use the Perlin noise for this layer. Okay, in here I'm going to search Perlin. That's okay. Let's increase the scale. Okay, and we can control the place that this mask is going to be affected. So let's add paint, and in here I'm going to use subtract method, and I'm going to select all the elements here. Okay, like this, and just press X to switch from white to black and select this part. And as you can see, now I have the dense layer effect on this piece, not all the plastic area. So let's go back to the layer itself. I just need to have height, and with the height I can play with the value. Okay, that's okay. So let's go back to the purely noise. I increase the tiling, decrease the scale. Okay, let's play with the disorder like this, play with the balance, and boom. Yeah, it's okay. So we have other layers here like scratches, the layers related to the text, and after that the edge effect. So let's go for the scratches. Okay, scratches. Okay, and in here I'm going to add a black mask and a fill layer. In the fill layer, let's search about grunge scratches rough. It's a best scratches generator in Painter. And let's go to the mask view. Okay, I'm going to increase tiling to something like 5. Okay, maybe 6. Yeah, that's okay. Remember that these scratches they are going to show on the plastic area in here, here, and here. Okay, so let's go back to the scratches and let's play with the balance. I don't want to have a strong scratch in all over the surface. Okay, let's play with this tiling. Okay, and play with this value to get a good result. Okay, yeah, and that's it. So let's go back to the grunge. I'm going to increase a scratch masking. Okay, that's it. And in the layer, let's change the blending mode of the color to soft light and put the color in white value, a little negative height, for example 0.03 or 4. Okay, as you can see, this is the effect that I'm looking for. And remember that we are going to see in the viewport in 2K size, but in the export this is the 4K result. So let's wait for that. And as you can see, this is a very good and sharp scratches. Okay, let's go back to the 2K. Okay, and go back to the layer itself. And I just need color, height, roughness. I don't want to have metallic, normal, or AO. And for the roughness, let's bring up to something like 0.9. Okay, and that's it. So let's add the next layer. It's text. Okay, and the main logic here to add some text on the plastic part and create outer line effect in the next layer. So I'm going to show you the way, the simple one, and after that in a time lapse, I'm going to add the text all over the model. So let's explain the main logic here. I'm going to add a black mask. In the black mask, I am going to add a fill layer. Okay. And in the shelf, in the alpha section, I'm going to search about the font, and you can use any of them. Okay. So let's use, yeah, I think this one, it's okay. That's it. And let's add something like test here. Okay, and let's go to the 2D view, and I'm going to use UV wrap unknown mode, and let's go to the mask view. Okay, it's here. As you can see, each one is okay. Okay, and now you can see the text here, right? So this is the text, and I'm going to add all the text in this project in this way. You can create a paint layer, use this alpha, type your text, and add your decal or text on the model with the paint. But I prefer to use fill layer because I can change it all the time. And even you can use mask creation technique in the Photoshop and use this technique again. So I just add a fill layer with the text, and now let's add an anchor point, and I'm going to create another layer, okay, with the name outline, and the color is red just for demonstration, and let's add black mask, add fill layer, and now I'm going to load this anchor point here. So let's load text mask. Okay, as you can see, we have test with the red color. Okay, let's duplicate this layer and just put the blending mode to subtract. So I couldn't see anything here right now, but if I add a filter like blur, now I can see the outline effect. So it's completely procedural. If I go here and write this, change the position, size, rotation, or anything, it's going to be update. So this is the main logic, and now I just pause the video, add the text, all the texts, and after that we are going to continue our way. Okay, I just create my text all over the model, okay, and just use grunge white brush as a subtract mask and remove some area, and use warp to create some wavy effect on the text. Okay, and in the text outline we use the simple technique to have this effect. So okay, let's move to the next layer, and in here I'm going to collect all the data from these layers with the paint and collectible layer with the pass through blending mode in the paint. Okay, Okay, let's apply all the channel, and I'm going to add anchor point here, and let's add another layer for the edges. So let's add the edge. Okay, and here I'm going to add a black mask with a simple generator like metal edge. That's it. And let's load the anchor point that we create here as a collector to the macro height. So in this way, I just collect all the data that I created here in these layers with the height or normal. If we have normal, we need to load macro normal too. And after loading the anchor point, we need to change the reference channel from base color to height because we are going to use height data. And we need to go to the macro details and turn on macro height. And as you can see, now this effect and these details are going to be participate in the metal edge generator. So let's control the variable. Okay, like this. I think this one is better. Okay, but with tweaking the variable, the effect on the edge is much lesser. It's okay, I'm okay with that, but we need to have so much a strong effect on these details. So I need to go to the curvature intensity, for example, and play with this slider, high detail intensity, and as you can see, we can control this effect here too. Okay, like this. And now we can play with the variable. Okay, like this. So in this method, we have metal edge wear on the text, on these details, and on the edge too. So that's fine. Let's go back to the layer. I just need to have color and roughness. For the color, I'm going to use soft light with the white value. Okay, and in the roughness, I'm going to use something like 0.1 because I'm going to add another layer here for the edges. And that layer is not reflective like this, so they are going to have combination between the edges effect. So let's add another fill layer. Okay, like edge damage. Okay, let's add black mask. For edge damage, I'm going to use a simple trick. Okay, let's add a paint layer and let's add a fill layer. In the fill layer, I'm going to load any ground that I want that it's suitable for this project. Okay, like this. So let's bring it up the scale to something like 10, for example, or let's change it to this one. Yeah, I think it's better. Let's increase the contrast and the balance. Yeah, it should be like this. But it's like a uniform effect around the model, and it's not good. Okay, so we can control this grunge with this paint layer. Okay, so let's change the blending mode from normal to multiply. And now when I go to the paint layer and do something like this. Okay, the mask is going to be show up here, and that's okay for me. So this is the part one, and the second part is to use another fill layer like wipe. Okay, now let's increase the tiling amount to something like 4 or 5. Okay, and let's bring up the contrast and bring down the balance. Now we have some effect in here, and let's change the blending mode of this fill layer from normal to linear dodge, so in this way we can see what happened in the paint layer. Okay, so let's go for the paint. Some brushes from the asset library, but before that let's go and set the layer setting. I need color, height, roughness, and metallic. Okay, for the roughness let's go for the 0.9. Okay, and for the height let's go for the 0.02. Okay, and for the color let's use white color and change the blending mode from normal to soft light. Okay, and let's go back to the white brush and bring up the balance. Okay, now it's okay. And let's go back to the paint. In the asset library I'm going to use chunk brush. Let's search about the chunk, and this is the impressionist chunk. Okay, that's it. And now in here I can paint like this and have some edge effect. Okay, so this is the way that I'm going to use here for the edge damage. So let's skip that for this moment and pay attention on other section and layers. And after that, when I pause the video, I'm going to complete this part. So let's go for the inner part. For the inner part, I mean this yellow area, I'm going to create a leather material, a fine leather. So let's add leather layer. Okay, and load leather in here. Okay, that's okay. And let's increase the tiling to something like, for example, 5. Okay, and let's play with the slider here. For example, I'm going to decrease the roughness value here, and leather density to something like 0.4. Okay, and let's decrease the grain intensity much lower. Okay, like this. And let's decrease the roughness here. Okay, and let's disable the color for the layer itself. And now I'm going to add a fill layer as a sub layer here. And in this fill layer, I just need to have color. So let's pick up the color. Okay, this is the color that I'm looking for. Okay, and let's add a color variation. Okay, in the second fill layer, let's rename it color var. I'm going to load something like creases soft. This one. Let's change the projection to something like triplanar. Increase the tiling to 4, for example. Okay, and let's change the blending mode from normal to soft light. Okay, and let's decrease the amount of the opacity because I don't want to affect so strongly in the color with this layer. So 25, I think it's okay. Okay, as you can see, there is a difference here. Okay, that's good. And that's it for the leather part. Let's add a fill layer. I'm going to call it color var number 1. Okay, let's add black mask. And I'm going to use ambient occlusion generator like this. Okay, let's invert it and just play with the global balance. Okay, which one is better? Yeah, I think the default one is okay. Let's go back to the layer itself. I just need color and roughness. Roughness maybe 0.2 is okay. For the color variation, let's go to use white and soft light. Okay, so this is the color variation that we add here right now. And let's go for adding second color variation. Okay, so let's add black mask. And for this second one, I just add a dirt generator, simple one. So let's decrease the dirt level to something like 0.4. Okay, like this. And let's decrease the ground scale. And in here, I just need to have the color, the dark one, like this. Okay, that's it. So for this last one, I'm going to add roughness variation. Okay, and in the black mask, I'm going to use fill layer with grunge humidity. Okay, let's change the projection to triplanar. And let's increase the balance. Okay, to something like 8. And increase the tiling to something like 3. Okay. Let's go back to the layer itself. I just need to have roughness, and in the roughness maybe 0.6. That's good. As you can see, in the roughness channel, we have this variation here. Okay, let's increase the balance. Yeah, I think it's better right now. Yeah. Okay, okay, let's focus on the outer part. And in here, I'm going to use some plastic smart material from the library. And the best one is plastic used. Okay. It's very good. And I'm happy with the result. But the color is not corrected for this project. I need to change the color and add a camo pattern on the surface. So let's go to the plastic used and let's change the color to something like dark gray. Okay, it's good right now, but after the wear, I'm going to add a fill layer and rename it to camo. Okay, I don't want to receive the data from the underlayers, so I need to change the blending mode for the camo to normal in all channel. Okay, so apply to all channel, and I don't receive anything from the layer below. Okay, and let's add the camo here. Okay, it's good, but I just need this part for the helmet itself, not this shield. Okay, so let's go back here. I'm going to change the tiling to something like this. Okay, let's play with the seed. Okay, I'm going to change the color like this. Okay, a little brighter, and like this. Okay, that's it. So let's play with the seed. Yeah, this one is better. So I can play with this mask too. For example, I can add a generator like metal edge. Okay, like this one, and change the blending mode to subtract. And I can add a paint layer. Go to the paint. Okay, and just change the blending mode to subtract and add some area like this to create wear effect here. Okay, just a little bit, but you can use stencil, grunges, everything here for this purpose. But in here I just want to demonstrate this to you, to what we have in our possibilities. Okay, for example, this part and this part. Okay, like this. So this is a way that we can control, and let's bring up the height for the camo so we can have this kind of effect. I think it's too much. Let's use 0.02. It's better. So this is for the camo, and that's it. Let's play with the roughness. Yeah, it's better, or maybe a little shinier, and we can add roughness variation on top. So that's okay for this part, and let's add roughness variation. Okay, this is a roughness variation. I just need to have roughness. Okay, and let's keep the roughness, and I'm going to add the black mask, a fill layer, and fingerprint. Maybe this one is better. Let's add it and bring up the tiling. Oh, it's too much. I think 3 is good. Okay. Like this. Let's play with the balance. Yeah. Yeah, it's very good. It's very good. So let's add another layer like dirt. Okay, in the dirt layer, I'm going to use UV border distance as a main mask. Okay, so I can have this kind of effect here. That's it. And let's bring up the balance, distance. Okay. Let's bring down the distance. A little smoothness. Yeah, like this. And yeah, this one. It's okay. And I'm going to multiply a grunge leak. Let's search about the leaks. Yeah, I think this one is okay. Okay, and let's increase tiling. And let's change the projection to triplanar. Okay. And let's change the rotation of the box. That's it. Now the result is very good. And let's change the blending mode to multiply. And boom. Let's increase the balance. Okay. And maybe changing the position like this. Okay, I'm going to add another fill layer like grunge 07. Yeah, it's perfect. Let's increase the tiling to 3. And decrease the contrast and the balance itself, and change the blending mode to linear dodge like this one, and decrease the amount of the opacity to 40, for example. We can tweak these amounts, and we can change the grunge every time, anytime that we like. So it's okay. And I think it's enough for the dirt layer. Let's add dirt generator and see what happens if we have dirt generator 2. Yeah, let's change to linear dodge. Okay, let's decrease the amount. Yeah, I think it's okay. It's good. Okay, we can control the opacity here too, like this, and that's okay. So let's focus on the layer itself. Okay, I just need to have color, height, and roughness. For the roughness, I think 0.6 is okay. The color, it should be like dark brown, like this one here. And for the height, yeah, I prefer to have some variation in the height section too. Okay, like this. And yeah, that's it. It's okay. So let's add the scratches layer for the last layer in outer part. scratches. Okay, let's add black mask. And this time I'm not going to use scratches textures. I'm going to use white textures like white brush. Yeah, this one. Okay, tiling 2 is okay. And for the balance, I think we need to increase the contrast and decrease the balance. Okay, we can play with the offset too, like this. And let's add another fill layer. And I think this one is very good. Yeah, grunge vibe leaky. And let's change it to linear dodge. Okay, let's increase the tiling to something like 5 or maybe 6. Yeah, 6 is better. And let's bring up the contrast again and decrease the balance like this. Okay, let's decrease the balance for white brush too. That's it. And let's add a filter like warp to break this unique form here. Okay, and in the layer itself, let's change the blending mode to soft light. I just need color, height, and roughness. And for the color, I think near to white is okay. For the height, I think negative 0.02, it's okay. And we need to bring up the roughness, and that's it. It's enough for the outer part. Okay, so let's change something in the grunge warp. I don't want to have this kind of a strong effect here. Yeah, it's better. It's better. Let's increase the tiling. Yeah, I think it's much better. But no, 2 is better. Yeah, it's okay. So let's go for the last part on the helmet. I mean the fabric part. Okay. For the fabric part, I'm going to use smart material here. Okay, UCP. Yeah, like this. And let's change the setting of this smart material. I don't need to have custom color here. And I just need to have the solid color like this. Okay. And let's change the projection to triplanar. That's it. Okay. So let's bring up the tiling amount to something like 2. Yeah, I think it's better. And yeah, the tile number 2 is okay. The color pattern intensity, can change it here, but I think it's okay right now. That's it. Okay, let's bring folds on. Okay. And let's decrease the height amount of the folder. Yeah, like this. Okay, and let's add the border effect. Okay, let's add the border effect. And in the border effect, I'm going to change the blending mode of the base color to soft light and bring up it to white. Okay, let's add black mask. And in here, I'm going to use generator like curvature, as you can see. And let's control it. Okay, like this. Okay. Okay, so for better control, let's remove the blur from the curvature, and let's add blur filter here. Okay, and let's add level to control the mask. Like this. Okay. And maybe you ask this question, okay, what is this line here? And I can see this kind of line in other places too. It's related to the mesh maps. I need to rebake all the mesh maps, especially normal and dense normal in the painter. And it's related to some UV mapping issue. It's not a big deal. I'm going to fix it later after the texturing part. But the most important thing here is to create the mask and the layers. So let's control it, like this. Okay, and let's go back to the layer itself. Okay, now I can use the height amount. Yeah, it's okay. And I just need color, height, and roughness. For the roughness, let's increase it to something like 0.8. And for the height, the negative 0.2 is okay. And that's it. So we have the base of the fabric like this. And now it's time to add the stitches and the text and the label here. So for the text, I just use a fill layer here, text, and let's add black mask. And I'm going to load a fill layer and put it here and change the layer setting. Okay, so let's add a fill layer, and in here let's search for the font. Okay, this is the font that I'm going to use it. Where is that? Okay, I think, yeah, this one. Okay, that's it. Red box. And let's change the UV wrap to none. Okay, and put it here. Yeah, it's not this one. Yeah, like this. Okay. Okay, and I just need to have color, height, and roughness. Roughness, it should be on something like 0.6, And for the height, I think -0.2, it's okay, or it's too much. Yeah, maybe. And for the color, let's use soft light. But this time I'm going to create a dark color. And let's change the opacity to something like 30. Oh, it's too much. Let's go back to 50, for example. And we can decrease the value here. Okay. So this is for the text and the label. Anywhere else, we need to use this kind of labels on the fabric. We are going to use it like this. And let's go for the last part. In the last part, I'm going to use the paint layer and use top stitching here. Okay, let's change the size to 3 and let's create the stitches here like this. So this is the main tool that I'm going to use for the stitching part. And now I'm going to pause the video and add all the detail that I want here. And after that, we can see what is the final result and say goodbye together. Okay, so let's finish this process. And this is the final result here. I just need to mention that for using paths, because it's on the 3D model and you cannot control it with the mask separately, I'm going to divide it to 2 different paint layers, as you can see. Okay, the first one is like the main part, and this is the result. Okay, and for the second one, I just create a mask for this part. Okay, like this. So it's not a big deal. I just use the tool in 2 different layers to avoid any conflict between the data that each path project on the surface. So for the final step, I'm going to use a magical trick that bring your texture to the next level. So let's add a paint layer after all the thing that we create. Okay, this one. And I'm going to call it collect data. Okay, and let's change the blending mode to pass through, and let's apply to all channel. Okay, and let's add an anchor point. So after that, I'm going to create a fill layer and call it AO plus. And as you can imagine, and it's obvious from the name, we are going to add AO to the material, because in the default version, if we didn't attend to the AO data along the texturing process, we don't have any data related to the AO. And without AO, the details, they are not connected to your surfaces. So it's very tricky point here, because we didn't process the AO data and we accept this. Okay, we need AO. So in here, with this technique, I'm going to add AO data in the material with the data collected here. Okay, so in here, I just need to have AO as you can see. And let's add black mask. In the AO mask, I'm going to use generator and ambient occlusion. Okay, so we are in the ambient occlusion viewport, so we just see the ambient occlusion. It's not corrected, and we need to invert it. So we have the ambient occlusion. Okay, it's okay. So as you can see, it's so much better right now. But the data that we created, for example, stitches or any other type of data, for example, the pattern that we create here, it's not calculated in the AO channel. So how we can bring all the data here? We simply just use macro detail here, and let's load the collect data and change the reference channel to height, and boom, we have it right here. So let's go back to the material, and without AO, with AO, it's totally different. And we can control the mask like this. We can control the AO color like this, and we can control the opacity of the layer here like this. So this is the final technique and trick here. And if you ask, okay, how you create this glass shader, glass material inside Painter, this is for another video, because this video is too long right now. And that's it. We texture this model inside Substance Painter with the easiest way that we can do. And don't forget to share your mind in the comment section, and hit the like button, subscribe the channel, and you are supporting us in this way. Have a good time. Goodbye.